Hello, everybody. This is Yafa Luria with ADHD Parenting Breakthrough. And I am speaking to the subscribers of my e-zine mostly, but all of you can listen in. I did a little piece on effective and ineffective parenting strategies for parenting ADHD kids. By the way, if you want to subscribe, since the subscribers get more perks, you can click on the link below. I've put my website, my email. If you want to schedule an introductory session that's free, we can just talk about what's going on and see where I can help. Or if you want to subscribe to the e-zine, that's all going to be down there. Okay, so we're going to start with the ineffective things. So one strategy that happens a lot is waiting until life starts unraveling before you ask for help. Most parents come to me when they're in dire straits. Of course, I can help them. I wish that all people would get help before like not while they're standing on the cliff. I wish they would get help when they realize that something just isn't working, and that the family is getting, as a whole, unhappier rather than happier. So yeah, it's not, it'll work for most people if you come at, when you're in dire straits, but sometimes it's too late for me to help, at least. And a child may need to be hospitalized. They may need to be in therapy rather than coaching. The family may need to be in therapy because the relationships have gotten so bad that the techniques that need to be used are therapeutic, having to do with therapy, which I'm not a trained therapist. I am a trained school counselor, a trained teacher, a trained lots of other things, but I am not a trained therapist. Another one is yelling and nagging. So kids absolutely hate this. And by the way, they call yelling and nagging the same thing. They refer to it as the same thing. Basically, it's like if you're speaking to them negatively, they think it's nagging. I'm sorry, yelling. That's why sometimes they'll say, "Stop yelling at me." And you're like, "I'm not even yelling." But to them, it's negative, so they call it yelling. It is the number one thing that almost every single kid that I've worked with has said is the yelling. And some kids, for some kids, their reaction is stronger and more upsetting than with other kids. But here's the thing. Yelling is, I always say to people, yelling is for emergencies. If you're yelling all the time, regardless of whether it works, quote unquote works, then you're creating an atmosphere of emergency. Nothing needs to be taken care of right away, unless it's an emergency. Most of the time, our deadlines that we set for ourselves are artificial. Um, for instance, dishes need to be washed after dinner. Like, no monster is going to come and eat your family. Nobody's going to come and hurt your family if the dishes aren't washed after dinner, like if they're not washed till the next morning. So it's an artificial deadline. That doesn't mean that it's not an important deadline, but things happen, and sometimes uh, plans need to change somewhat, or the way that things are done need to change. For instance, one child may need company that night when if they're washing the dishes or loading the dishwasher or unloading the dishwasher or doing homework or whatever. They just may need um, your body to be near them somewhere in their vicinity because it makes them feel better. There's not a thing wrong with that, really, not a thing. Um, Depending on how old your child is, um, and depending on what they want you to do with them or be around, um, that might be an issue, but pretty much like the only thing I can think of is if they have to have you in the bathroom while they're taking a bath or something, and they're like teenagers in high school. But teenagers are different, and every people are different. Everybody goes through different things, and it may be important for you to be in the bathroom with your teenager who's taking a bath because of other things that have happened. So really, um, it's important to assess not what everybody else does, but what your situation is. Um, if you're comparing, excuse me, comparing your family to another family or trying to imitate what another family does or take on their activities or strategies and it's not working, it's important to like take some steps back, regroup, possibly get some help, and get in there again in a different way. Um, Reacting with anger, here's the problem with reacting with anger and yelling. You're Nobody is in their right mind when a situation is stirred up. Um, if you get angry, it affects the people around you negatively. If somebody else is angry around you, it'll affect you negatively. And I'm talking about physiological changes. You are compromised when you are angry because, or afraid, but um, it, the brain is, if you're angry or if you're afraid or if you're coming from a place of fear, which anger sometimes is, your all of a sudden your body thinks that like a saber-toothed tiger is chasing after you. These are very primitive reactions, and you are not primitive. So if you're only able to react primitively, how can that possibly um, resolve any kind of issue? So the best thing to do is to just wait till things calm down. And then from there, of course, there are some communication techniques that are important, but a discussion is two-way. Just remember that. It's not a conversation if you're the only one talking. Um, okay, so um, the big heart, noisy brain parenting model um, does have a different way of parents interacting with children. However, and children interacting with their parents. However, that does not mean that um, you have to be lenient or let the child run the family or not have any rules. I have a whole system of rules in there also. That's part of the process. Um, you can be um, kind and loving and understanding and patient and have boundaries and rules and that you follow, that you all follow, and follow through on. So, and if you want to know more about that, I mean, you can search through the videos, or you can just ask me the question, or schedule one of those exploratory calls that are free, and we can talk about it. Um, One of the things that uh, is sort of the style nowadays is you're supposed to ignore attention getting actions. So if your child is just doing something to get attention, you're supposed to ignore it. I mean, I went to a presentation at my school district where the behavior expert said this is what you're supposed to do. I completely disagree. If somebody is doing attention getting things, give them attention to find out what's going on. Um, Ignoring somebody um, is pushing them away. If they're doing attention getting things, you're approaching them with with kindness, with love, with patience. Um, won't won't prolong the attention getting. It will um, help the attention getting subside. Ignoring is ignoring those attention getting stunts or whatever they are is actions is is a way of saying I don't care. Not I'm not going to be bothered by this, but I don't care. If there are ways to not be bothered by those things and still give them attention. So it's a tricky one, and it's like I said, it's very in vogue or whatever to ignore these things called attention getting actions. And then don't give up. Um, I've read online, like in parent groups and stuff, there are parents that say it's just the way it is. They have ADHD, it's just the way it is. Or they have um, autism and that's just the way it is. To and there are teachers that will say to parents, I can't do any more for your child. And that angers me a lot also. Um, if a teacher can't do anything more, the best thing to say would be, let me get some help to figure this out. Not just a blanket like, okay, I can't do anything, so now you need to go away because there's no point in talking to me ever again because I can't do anything. It is not professional and it's not good parenting to just say um, there's nothing that can be done. Obviously, facing reality is super important, but brains change. Brains are elastic or plastic. They have plasticity, which means they can be altered. Do they want to be altered? Nope. And so your brain will push back, like kind of like a rubber band. Wish I had one. a rubber band, when you stretch it, if you let go of it, it doesn't stay here. It goes back to here. But eventually, if you keep stretching it, it's stretched out to here. It's there it is. It's grown to the size you presumably want it to be. That is the brain. It's important to do things consistently and regularly so that the brain can change. The brain doesn't change with once a month, whatever it is. Um, like if you only told your kids that you love them once a month, that that would be suspicious. Like, I don't think you love your kids if you're only saying it once a month. Um, but then, of course, you know, every family is different, of course. So if you're having feelings of heaviness, just being weighed down, or feelings of inadequacy or defeat, or even anger, frustration, stress, it's really important to reach out. And I would love for you to reach out to me. I'm not salesy. I want to give you what you need. That's that would that would really um, meet my vision for what I do. My vision is to help families with kids who have ADHD or teens, and so reaching out is a joy for me to help you and to guide you in whatever way I can, given the uniqueness of your family is what I do. And it is my privilege and honor to be able to do that. So please do reach out even if you have a small question. Not all questions can be answered in a video or in an email because they're bigger questions. But I will absolutely do my best and refer you to whatever I think will help you, and whatever techniques or whatever programs or books or videos, anything like that. So um, those are the ineffective parenting strategies. And that's it for this video. This is Yafa Luria with ADHD Parenting Breakthrough, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.